peoples and part of the oldest living continuing culture in the world. They are the traditional custodians of these lands and waterways, which they call Nudgee and Nada, and we call Nudgee. We acknowledge their ancient customs and the law of the land. We pay our respects and acknowledge all ancestors, elders and communities across this nation and neighbouring islands. Gentlemen, during our assembly today, we'll hear from our college identity prefects as they launch the social justice activities for 2022. We will have an activities wrap from Ms Kafaji and some of our sports prefects. Our college Vice Captain, Darcy Turner, will provide an update on the first week in boarding. We'll hear from Mr Johnston and finally look through a few key events over the coming weeks. We always gather as a Catholic community, and it's my pleasure to hand over to one of our college prefects in the identity team, Ryan Davey.
In 2007, the United Nations General Assembly decided that the 20th of February would become recognised as World Social Justice Day. This initiative was created to shed light on cultural-based poverty, racial discrimination, and disability. This provides an opportunity for social justice activities to shape a stronger and more positive society. The theme for 2022 is to achieve social justice through formal employment. We now share in prayer to signify World Social Justice Day, in voice and in action. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Lord, grant us a vision of your world as your love would have it. A world where the weak are protected and none go hungry nor poor. A world where the riches of creation are shared and everyone can enjoy them. A world where different races and cultures can live in harmony and mutual respect. A world where the peace is built with justice and justice is guided by love. Give us inspiration to the courage to build it, and through Jesus Christ our Lord. Leave Jesus in our hearts. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
The social justice programs provided at Nudgee are based around the concept outlined by the United Nations, the pursuit of social justice for all. For this reason, we try to spread our program across many areas of society where there is a need. We are proud of our comprehensive and inclusive program, and as you would have heard time and time again, we've been given the privileged opportunity to attend Nudgee College, so try and challenge yourself and help the marginalised in our community. Nudgee College chooses to help the disadvantaged through a wide range of activities available for students, ranging from grade 7 to 12. There are many chances to make a meaningful difference to the members of Brisbane and the wider community. I strongly encourage you to give to others this week by participating in the wide range of activities.
As Al has just mentioned, we run many social justice programs. Such programs include the Big Barbie, Big Brekkie, Scrabble and Chat, Viridian Aged Care, Holt Bolt, Era for Change, and the crowd favourite, NC Sustainability. The modified rugby program will also be kicking off this year in Term 4 for both years 11 and 12, but there will be more information coming out about this later in the year. I'm also here today to run you through how we will be communicating with you this year. We'll be reaching out through the team app as your rugby, cricket, rowing and soccer teams already do. The NC Solidarity page has been running for a few years now with over 1,500 past and present members. However, this year we are looking forward to seeing some fresh faces. Just like you would any other program, you just search up NC Solidarity at the top of your screen. Once accepted by Miss Kennedy, head into volunteer sign up and you will be eligible to start signing up to as many programs as you can. Just click on which event you're looking for, hit going, and I'll see you all there. With the start of the new year rolling in, I encourage all of you to sign up for as many programs as you can, and I hope to see you all there. Also, make sure to get down to the Ross Oval Rotunda this Thursday lunchtime, where the boys and I will be launching our barbecue committee campaign for 2022. Cheers, boys.
One of our goals as prefects in 2022 is to present the college with a Nudgee Sports strategic plan that aligns with the college's Advancing Nudgee College Spirit 2021 to 2025. We began in Term 4 last year with a series of workshops which included a diverse group of approximately 40 senior boys. It was important for us to gather as much information as we could, our history, the current trends in sport, knowledge and experience from our sport directors, and our strengths and areas for improvement. We wanted to reflect on where we are now. What are the things that we are most proud of, and what are the things we felt needed attention in order to make our future stronger? All of this will help us put together a plan that will guide Nudgee Sport over the next 4 years. We felt it was important to begin with the why, so we hit the playground to find out why Nudgee boys play sport.
I play sport at Nudgee because it is fun.
I play sport at Nudgee to be included.
I play sport at Nudgee to be part of 10,000 brothers.
I play sport at Nudgee to represent my school.
I play sport at Nudgee to be part of something bigger than ourselves.
I play sport at Nudgee to play with my mates.
I play sport at Nudgee because it's fun, competitive, and I love hanging out with my mates.
I play sport at Nudgee to support the blue and white.
I play sport at Nudgee because I strive for improvement.
I play sports at Nudgee to strive for excellence.
I play sport at Nudgee to leave a legacy for those to come.
I play sports at Nudgee because we can be with our mates. I play sport at Nudgee because I like to have fun. I play sport at Nudgee because I like to represent our school.
I play sport at Nudgee because it develops values which are important to the school, such as respect, humility, and courage. Thanks to the boys who shared their why. What stood out for me is that sport is so much more than winning or losing. The relationships it helps us build, the physical and mental well-being benefits, the life skills of setting goals and working hard to achieve them, the focus on a growth mindset for improvement, at Nudgee the fact we are playing for the 10,000 brothers, and learning the values of humility, respect and courage. If we do a good job of these attributes, the scoreboard will look after itself. It has been great to see the support for our cricketers and volleyballers in the first 3 weeks. Round 4 sees us take on BBC, so if you can get over to the BBC to support our teams, cricket is on from 10 a.m. till about 5 p.m, and the first 6 volleyball starts at 12:15. Last weekend saw a very exciting win for our first 6, with our supporters demolishing Churchie in numbers, continuing their undefeated run. Our swimmers are at Chandler again this Friday, striving for PBs to be considered for our championship team, competing in 2 weeks, and our rowers have the bye this week, so we'll be getting some training and some time to rest and recover for their final 3 weeks in the head of the river. Finally, our cattle club and show team will be competing at their first show for the season when they head out to Bell on Friday. Good luck to all boys and teams representing the blue and white this weekend.
Good morning, staff, CLT and gentlemen. It has been wonderful to see people trying the new in 22 now that we're back on campus. A massive shout out to the Year 6 and 7 boys who have been everywhere in the past week. Over the next few weeks, Baxter, Ollie and Tom will be giving you the inside scoop on how involvement in the arts has helped them own their journey to inspire you to take the first step. Here's a snapshot of a Term 1 week in performing arts. If you are interested, head along to Chess Theatre Sports and Art Club, chat to Mr. Smith about the music teams, and come along next time we debate at home, which is Friday week 5, to check out the Senior A's in action. Each activity uses team app like Social Identity and Sport Do. Speaking of debating, congratulations to all who participated at Churchie last week, and I hope you take on board the great feedback that you received. Player of the round goes to Gilly Allen in Year 8. Congratulations on stepping up and showing amazing Nudgee College spirit in your first week at the school and your first debate. Well done.
Good morning, Mr. Fulliger, members of the CLT, staff, Mr. Johnson, viewers online, and of course, my Nudgee brothers. The new year to boarding is always an exciting time for everyone involved. Not only is it a time that the spirit of Nudgee is reunited, but a time that we get to welcome a vast amount of new boarders into our community. A community that we love to share, and a community that we look forward to seeing Nudgee men thrive in. The first week back at school has proven to have both its ups and downs, but I can say, on behalf of the boarding community, as a success. Throughout the space of online learning, Nudgee College boarding has quite literally never been bigger, with our boarding community spreading as far wide as Victoria to the Northern Territory and even over to Papua New Guinea, all attending the same classes from different regions in the world. The essence of boarding is to thrive in a community and to facilitate teamwork in our day-to-day lives. And no matter how far away we were online, we got through the challenges of online schooling as a community. Like any challenge in life, it can either be overthought or overcome. And standing here today, I can say with full confidence that we have successfully overcome our first 2 weeks as a boarding community, both online and in person. Coming back to our home away from home isn't always as easy as it seems, especially after a disrupted 11-week break over Christmas, but a transition that is made much easier with our first weekend in. The first weekend of each term is a weekend that we as a boarding community get to share with one another, experiencing a number of different activities with both our own year levels and boarding as a whole. Friday night was spent with our houses, sharing a barbecue and having activities on the oval. It was a time to switch off from the week and enjoy each other's company. Saturday gave us the opportunity to have both a roaming grandstand around the grounds and a supporter bus travel to Churchie to help bring home the win in volleyball. The roaming grandstand gave new boys to our college a glimpse into what the spirit of Nudgee is, and hopefully inspired all of them to be a part of the success to come in the near future. Saturday evening saw the first boarding mass for the year, another special moment the new boys to our community get to hold with them along their Nudgee journey. The hymns sung in the chapel at full voice is something that all boys, new or old, love being a part of. Following mass, the night was filled with a variety of different games, including boys sharing time together at the driving range, barefoot bowls, putt-putt golf, and laser tag. These activities were cohort-based and gave us all time to build positive relationships with boys, both new and old, who will be a part of our journey this year, and for younger boys, the years to come. Sunday was another jam-packed day, waking up at 9 a.m. to take a bus to the beach. The boys travelled to Broadbeach to soak up the sun and enjoy the water. A quiet bus trip home wrapped what was a great weekend up and assured everyone a good night's sleep for the week to come. The start of any new year among these times are filled with unknowns, surrounding the possibility of any sudden change. But I can say with full certainty that if we continue to thrive as we have this week, we as a boarding school will see a flourishing community. I would also like to take this opportunity on behalf of us boarders to say a huge thank you to Mr. Brearley, Mr. Silcock, all the heads of house, boarding staff for making the start of the year an action-packed and enjoyable time for all involved. Your work behind the scene doesn't go unnoticed by all, so thank you again for the smooth transition into what will be a great year.
Thank you, Darcy. It's quite hard, obviously, for the boys, and the boys have basically done a lot today in their speaking, but they're actually speaking to you on the camera with a very, very small audience in here. So well done, lads. So it's been very boy-heavy. We've talked about sport, we've talked about social justice, we've talked about the arts, and we've talked about boarding. I want to go a little bit differently this morning. I want to talk about a man called Bear Bryant. I want to talk about the Bear Bryant test. Over summer, I like to do a lot of reading and go down a lot of little different rabbit holes, and I started to discover this guy I heard of as a student when I went to school in America called Paul Bear Bryant. The article could be best summed up by the saying, the true test of a person's character is what they do when no one is watching. And I know I've touched on this a few times over the years. Paul Bear Bryant was a legendary football coach in the USA college competition. In 38 years of coaching, he only had a single losing season. Now that meant that he won more games each season than he lost. In 25 years at the University of Alabama, he coached the team to 24 straight bowl appearances, which is probably like winning the GPS for us. But he also competed in 6 national championships, so that means his teams were the best in the country. He got the nickname Bear in his teens when he agreed to wrestle a bear in a travelling carnival. No record of the outcome of that match survives today. As a coach, Bryant was also a colourful character, known for his black and white houndstooth hat and the colourful things he said. And some of his quotes is what I want to focus on now. His first quote: "If anything goes bad, I did it. If anything goes semi-good, we did it. If anything goes really good, then you did it. That's all it takes to get people to win a football game." Humility is clearly evident here, gentlemen. Brian was, as we say in our star, authentic. That's something we want to see from each of you. It's not the will to win that matters. Everyone has that. It's the will to prepare to win that matters. That can apply to all areas of your life, gentlemen, whether it be academics or co-curricular. Are you prepared to work hard? Are you prepared to put the work in it takes to win or to do well in class? You can't turn up on the day and compete without the training. You can't turn up on the day and do a test without the study and revision. His next one: "I'm no innovator. If anything, I'm a stealer or borrower. I've stolen or borrowed from more people than you can shake a stick at." Gentlemen, we do want excellence here. But Brian says quite clearly he wanted to learn from other people. He wasn't cheating, and we don't want you to cheat, but he wasn't too proud to say, "I can always learn." If you believe in yourself and have dedication and pride and never quit, you'll be the winner. This speaks for itself. And I'll go back to Kane Day talking to us a couple of weeks ago. Probably the most striking thing about Kane's speech for me was he'd been here from year 6 and his first academic medal came in year 10. First academic medal in year 10, gentlemen, and then he ends up with a 99.95 in the top 32 students in the entire state. If you believe in yourself and have dedication and pride and never quit, you can be a winner. I love all those quotes, all things Bryant said throughout his career. But my favourite Bear Bryant quote isn't one that he said. It's one that's said about him. Coach Bryant had an idea about how a person ought to act, and if you watch them, you can figure it out. They call this the Bear Bryant test. Can people watch you in action and tell what your values are? Think about that. Do you have an idea about how you should act or about how your mates ought to act? If not, take some time to figure out. What do you expect? What do we expect? And we've said to you, people are watching. When you're in Nudgee uniform, people are judging you. Just yesterday morning, I was pulled up by a man who was judging us as a cross-country team. We make no secrets about who we are. Gentlemen, we are always being judged, even when you don't think it. Can people tell by watching you what sort of person you are? If it's just in your head or a show for when you think people are watching, or just words, it's not enough. You've heard me say it previously. It is how you act when you think no one is watching that is a measure of the person you are. Put simply, how do you act, for example, when the teachers are not around? Do you treat everyone with respect? And I've said this one before, do you make no one sad? Don't be that boy who's disruptive when the teacher's not looking. Don't be that person who spreads rumours about other people or engages in negative social media campaigns. That's not the Nudgee attitude. That's not a person we want here at the school. A simple challenge, gentlemen. Who are you when no one is watching? Are you a sign of faith? Good luck to all the teams this weekend. Safe travels to the Cattle Club. And finally, I promised I'd do it. Shout out to my Year 12 R&E class, most of them who can remember my name. Right, Darcy? Take care, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson, and remiss of me not to shout out to my Year 11 Maths Essentials class now then as well. Gentlemen, some wonderful messages this morning, as always on our college assemblies, but particularly with those key areas of college life: service, the arts and sport. And thank you to all those speakers this morning to reiterate those key areas of college life. Gentlemen, now that we're back on campus, I encourage you to keep looking for that sense of connection, that sense of involvement, because that is truly how you become one here at Nudgee College. Gentlemen, this Thursday evening is the senior investiture and blessing for our 2022 senior students, a special moment where our leaders are formally inducted into their positions of leadership. Year 12 men have already been advised, but a brief reminder for them that they'll have a rehearsal during period 4 on Thursday in preparation for Thursday afternoon, evening. Gentlemen, last week I spoke extensively about our mobile phone policy and a reconfirmation of those processes. And thank you once again to the vast majority of you who have continually done the right thing and always have done the right thing with regards to your mobile phones. We understand the importance they play in your life from a social platform, but gentlemen, we also know that they are an important tool to make sure that they are put aside and you can focus on your relationships and learning and teaching here whilst you're at the school. Gentlemen, the grace period is over. Please continue working with staff and demonstrate that discipline I know you do possess. Gentlemen, this week I want to talk just briefly about our hats. The weather is arguably at its hottest right now, although the weather the last couple of days has certainly been on the cooler side. But it's a timely reminder of the hat policy. For our grade 5 and 6 men, our college wide-brimmed hat with your surname embroidered on the back, and for our high school men, the college cap with your surname and house is the only acceptable headwear to be used in and around school events, particularly on campus. If you are out in the sun without your college hat, gentlemen, expect to be asked to be moved to a shaded area. That includes Wilkes, Mount Sion, Marys Mall, or any areas where you are obviously in the sun. Gentlemen, please wear your hats in those times. I would hate to have you have a red nose like mine at the slightest hint of sun. We've always displayed great pride in our uniform, and our hat is no exception to that, both at school but also on the weekend. It's Mr. Cannellan that always says, and he reminds us that when we are as one, we are our most impressive and we are incredibly united on the sporting front. Our uniform is certainly a testament to that as well. This was obvious at Churchie on Saturday with our spectators, and I wanted to thank all those boys again for the way they carried themselves on Saturday at Churchie. Gentlemen, especially a message for our Year 11 and 12 students. We're emailed a few weeks ago with regards to the process for driving and parking on campus. There is one area for senior students to park, and that is the gravel car park adjacent to Mount Sion Road near the cricket nets. All other areas that I know students might like to park in, such as the McHenry Centre, in Purton, or even near the Christian Brothers Conference Centre, are for staff and visitors to the college. Gentlemen, please assist us with that process. Over the coming days and weeks, either Mr. Silcock in boarding or Miss Barrett will conduct conversations with those students who have completed their applications, just to reiterate those processes as well. Looking to the week ahead, we wish our Year 7s all the very best with their incursions later this week, starting with Barrett, Duggan and Fogarty on Wednesday, and then subsequently on Thursday and Friday as well. For the wider school, this is in replacement of the college camp that has been postponed. So it's an opportunity for our Year 7s to get together, both new and old, and start building that house culture that we know so strongly in the older year levels. Gentlemen, more information will come through about SF this week, but on Friday morning, our Year 11 students will gather for a started year assembly, and we'll communicate with you the location and style of this gathering once we work that out ourselves at the moment. Just a final message before I finish with a little story as well. No house assemblies for the next few weeks, but a significant focus on our start of semester interview process within PC and allotted time from there. On Friday, thank you for the vast majority of you who engaged in that questionnaire that we sent out. And these conversations really set you up for success and for the year ahead. Speaking of success, like many Australian sport-crazed fans, which I'm certainly one of, every 4 years I become an armchair critic on such things as moguls and snowboard aerials. Sitting there watching the event and then critically identifying each fault with their technique, like I have actually any idea what I'm talking about when I do that, but it still doesn't stop me. On Friday and Saturday night, I sat nervously at home as I watched a young lady achieve something no Australian has done before: win a silver medal in the skeleton event at the Winter Olympic Games in Beijing. What made it special to me was that this young lady had her origin story close to here, growing up in Brackenridge and attending Sandgate State High School. Jackie was a student at the school when I taught there, and what was always obvious was her diligent approach to everything that she did, often doing those little extras both in the classroom and with her sporting endeavours. Jackie was certainly a naturally talented athlete and was focused on her dreams of becoming an Olympian as a track sprinter. While she was talented enough to represent her state in youth championships, it was clear her goals had to be recalibrated. Like so many of our students at Nudgee, Jackie was born into a loving family with accessible role models. Her uncle, Paul, was a dual Olympian, being the first Australian to represent in both the Summer and Winter Olympic Games. In 2012, at the age of 21, Jackie took the plunge and attempted to make the skeleton event her new dream. Previously, an event that women were banned from competing in because it was thought to be too dangerous. For the past 10 years, she has been travelling around the world, competing, improving, scrapping for any funding to continue to live her dream. Up until a month ago, she had never finished in the top 10 of a World Cup event, but on Saturday night, persistence paid off, sitting on the second step of the podium, proudly wearing a silver medal. Jackie's story sums up three things for me. The importance of hope. Hope gives us purpose. It gives us motivation, comfort, and resilience. The importance of having a dream. Nothing can happen if it isn't first a dream or a goal. And the importance of persistence. 3 years ago, Jackie nearly gave up the sport due to a concussion and a lack of funding. I wonder how many of our young men, and even the adults amongst us, have stopped seeking our goals and dreams at the first sign of adversity. In what's a bit of a college theme at the moment, there's a late NCAA basketball coach, Jim Valvano, who summed it up for me. Nothing can happen if it's not first a dream. If you have someone with a dream, if you have a motivated person with a goal and a vision, if you have someone that never gives up, who has great hope, anything can happen. I'll also throw in that in a Catholic context, having a degree of faith can also go a long way. The challenge for our young men will be to consider how they will go from where they are right now to where they want to be into the future. From a personal perspective, have an enthusiasm for each day you are here at Nudgee College. There aren't any better schools around. Have a dream, have a goal, and make it absolutely limitless. And finally, be willing to work for it, because nothing is ever given to you for nothing. Gentlemen and staff, that brings us to an end to our assembly this morning, and in what might be a record for me, a little earlier than planned, which is a pleasant change. Gentlemen, we will remain in PC until 9:40 this morning, and this will allow time for PC tutors to continue conducting a couple of those SOS interviews, but also just for the senior students to continue building relationships in PC. Gentlemen, a bell will ring at 9:40, and teachers in period 2 will have an extra 10 minutes up until morning tea for their classes in period 2. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I hope you take those messages from today and have a wonderful day.